Here is Corner to the World.
Yeah, and, it's a very poetic title, but the actual event that Shalene and Ingrid hosted was surprisingly practical.
Right. They weren't selling you on the romance of travel.
No, not at all.
This was much more of an expat toolkit. It was a real deep dive into the logistics, the finances,
Yeah.
all the stuff you actually need to survive working or studying abroad.
Exactly. They really broke it down, moving from the hard economics of it all to, the softer skills you need to integrate.
So let's start with that money part. Shalene drew a very clear line between going abroad as a student and going as a postdoc.
A very hard line. As a student, you're the customer. You're the one paying tuition, burning savings, and you have all this pressure to adapt immediately just to get by.
But the postdoc experience is totally different. Shalene framed it as being labor. You aren't paying, you're getting paid.
And get this, the numbers she shared were pretty shocking. Her income essentially doubled. It jumped from around $2,000 to $4,000 a month.
Wow.
All because postdocs were covered by union protections.
That is a massive, massive difference.
It is. And it wasn't just the base salary. It was the insurance, the retirement plans, That stability makes the simple life she talked about possible.
The commute between Davis and Sacramento, just focusing on research.
Right. But she pointed out a trade-off. Because she was working, she didn't have to practice her English all the time. She could kind of hide out in the lab.
Which leads right into those universal hurdles everyone talked about. The money, the loneliness, and of course, the stress of visa renewals. That J1 visa clock is always ticking.
Exactly. You can be financially stable but feel completely invisible socially.
Which brings us to the first, and maybe most surprising, tool in their toolkit.
Polyamor.
Sounds almost trivial, doesn't it? But for Shalene, this was a strategic move. She didn't just stay cooped up in the lab.
No, she joined the Taiwanese student union team and the UC Davis team. And they were good. They were winning championships.
But the real win wasn't the trophy.
Not at all. The win was the community. We think of networking as this formal thing at conferences, but Shalene proved that a shared interest, like a competitive sport, is a much faster way to build real connections.
And she's still in touch with colleagues now at Academia Sinica because of those games.
So volleyball handles the social side, but what about professional survival? This is where they shifted from stories to, actual frameworks for communication.
And they made a really important point. These aren't just generic public speaking tips.
Right. They're survival mechanisms, especially if you're not a native speaker.
Take the 5W1H method, who, what, where, when, why, and how. In your first language, you might just wing a presentation.
But Shalene's point was that when you're in a second language, that structure saves you. It's there for you when the vocabulary isn't.
It's like a cognitive safety net.
Exactly. And the same thing for the mind mapping technique they taught. Breaking a big idea like health down into little branches like diet and sleep. It's not just for organization. It reduces the mental load.
So you can focus on your delivery, not on searching for words.
And to nail that delivery, they had the 3R method: repeat, refine, and rehearse.
With the specific instruction to use a camera.
Yes. It is painful to watch yourself, she said, but it's the only way to get objective feedback. Much better than just talking to a mirror.
So you have the financial know-how, the community building through sports, and these structured communication drills.
It all really points to one central idea: open-mindedness. Or maybe adaptability. Whether you're dealing with weird food or a fluctuating salary, it's about actively managing the change.
Yeah, a proactive approach to being an outsider, instead of just letting it happen to you.
Which sort of raises a question for all of us, doesn't it? We always think we need to get on a plane to expand our horizons. But if you look at Shalene's toolkit, using the 3R method to sharpen how you communicate, or just joining a local sports team to find a new network, which of those tools could you use to break out of your own bubble right here at home?